to develop our food oasis and food cluster activities together. So let me just introduce a bit of background on why this is happening in the university. Is that 2016, some of us thought that we need to understand why we eat, what we eat, so we are what we eat. So we had a innovation week, a whole week of boot camp to bring, please come in, please come in. I know you guys are very comfortable sitting on the floor, right? Is that okay? Really, this is just really a big informal space, so if you can sit anywhere, it's fine. So going back to this food-related activity in the university has started from 2016 November. So that time we started very small scale. So people who involved in the presentation or boot camp, they were able to interview people. They actually tried to see how we do aquaponics or how we can actually develop further ideas, like having vending machine. They can read you and tell you, oh, you need protein, you need mineral, like what's missing. Two, also we talked about let's create a garden, farm in the university. So they came up with even Kuluna, which is the communal space, right, in Arabic? I know I pronounce it right. All yours.
So, well, hi, as you all know, my name is Martin Marchetti. I studied civil engineering, and I did good, but I felt something was lacking, some creativity. So I started studying architecture. I did good, but then I started seeing this idea of waste, and that the more you can spend on a building, the more architectural it is. I don't know, I just felt like there was something missing. It just didn't add up. And I felt that if I kept on going on that path, then I was gonna be a part of the problem. And I always wanted to, save the world, be a part of the solution. So I was in charge with designing a urban market, and I came with this idea of how cool would it be to have this. It was a full block to produce food in this place. Have the whole building producing food, so that people could see, well, firsthand the work it requires, but also the amount of space it takes, because cities keep on growing, and we don't, this process, to be able to grab nitrogen from the air and turn it into ammonia. This essentially was a double-edged sword, because the same compounds produced by this process were the ones used to make bombs and bullets. So we're going to make this no matter what. And after the war ended, we had all this machinery, all this industry already developed, all this advanced technology, and we started pumping up these chemicals, but we had no one else to bomb because the war was over. So we started applying it to our soil, and at first it worked. It worked wonders because the soil life was healthy. So here you can see a chart of the world's population, and around here, when the Haber-Bosch process was invented, you can see what happened to our population. What happened was food became incredibly cheap, and people reproduced. Before that, farmers had to move around with very clunky equipment and animals. And what they did was, for fertility, was they spreaded the manure of those animals with machines. But if we go with the biological way of thinking, we just create compost to produce this biology. And then they will interact with the plants, and the plant will take what the community of microorganisms is supplying. And they will be, the plant, it's not that it just releases one type of exit. The plant will release different chemicals depending on what it's needing. It will also release chemicals if it becomes under attack by some type of insect to attract a type of microorganism that will provide the nutrients that will help it to fight that disease. So by taking care of the soil, we're taking care of the, not we, but the plant itself, the community itself. It's taking care of its own nutrition, its own medicine, if you will. We have to exercise patience and humility in understanding that we're not in charge here.
But let's say we have our
Yeah.
compost that has been prepared.
Yes.
How much should we add to this wicking bag proportion? Can we add all the compost that we have and fill the whole wicking bag, or does it need to be mixed with others, the soil or something?
Okay.
To activity series number 6. Today we are doing a how-to workshop with the guest farmer, Martin Marchetti, followed by lecture yesterday. So everyone, Martin should know, I got a lot of feedback from many different people. They are learning, they're excited, they just feel like, you know, something is happening in the university. So very much good vibrant energy that is starting right now. So some of you are so new to this activity, so let me just give very quick background of why we are doing this. This is a Food Revolution for Social Change Research Cluster project that we wanted to create food oasis in the university. So to be able to get to that level, we have to just start very, very small. So it started in 2016 with a small pre-raised bed. We've been growing vegetable. We had a salad lunch, we had a survey, we had a discussion. So it's been growing last semester. This semester is a phase 2, which we are developing a prototype of what other ways that we can produce better. How do we think about the fair trade? How do we improve our healthy life? To how do we create a social space that we can work better together? So that all brings a happier, healthier community at our university. So that was what we want to create. Once it's created by you guys, together, we want to propose
stone. We could be using broken bricks. It doesn't matter. Essentially what you want is air spaces in between the different blocks so that they can be filled by water. So what we're going to do now is we're going to grab the gravel bags. We're going to fill at least 10 centimeters gravel. And after we've put the first 10 centimeters of gravel, we're going to put the pipe. But what we got to do first is we got to cover this with a white cloth to avoid the stones from getting in and to avoid the roots from getting inside here, which they will try to do because this will be most likely filled with water all the time. So the first thing we should do is cover this with a cloth. But we could also start putting the gravel at the same time. So you put 10 centimeters of gravel, you cover this with a cloth, you put it, and then you cover with gravel until you reach the drainage point. Okay? So you're filling here with water, and this is filling up with water until it reaches that point. And when it reaches that point, water is going out the other side. And then you stop watering because you know you've reached the level. So right here, above the gravel, we're going to be putting the rest of the cloth on top of it. And on top of the cloth, we're going to put soil. The reason for putting the cloth is to stop the soil from going into the stone. Because then the soil will be filling all those gaps and eventually you would run out of space for water. Okay? That's it. It's a very, very simple.
So water comes through this.
Yes, this is water.
You need to water the system again. Each time you the water is done, just over, so you need to water it again.
You could put a small piece of cork or a ball that floats and attach it to a stick. Okay, so you can put it here with lines. Okay, so when the water fills up, that floats, and you get like a measuring stick. And you can say, okay, this is half full, this is completely full. Essentially, you want to keep it topped up. The amount of water that it's going to be using is going to be mostly depending on the amount of sunshine we get, the amount of plants you have, because plants are using the water like we do. We transpire. Okay, plants do the same, and when the wind comes and evaporates the water from the surface of the leaf, it cools it down. Okay, so essentially the plants are going to be taking the water from underground, and there will be some evaporative loss, but they need it. They need it like we need water. Okay.
Will you do it live now? Will you do it now?
Yes. That's really important.
You want to start putting gravel?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, sure.
She wants it.
Okay, would someone want to put the cloth here?
Yes, we will divide it. Yeah, yalla.
يلا روبا.
So all the students come along and help.
So can it be double or
Just simple, like this. And if we had something
so just
like
one layer?
one layer, yeah,
Oh, we close it.
exactly, yes. Because we don't want the gravel coming in, and afterwards, when the plants get really big, we don't want the roots coming in because they will clog it. Okay, so great. So
Wow.
so if you guys can, there was a scissor in one of the on top of one of the composting experiments. Okay, whilst they go for the scissors, we can start pumping the gravel. This is
Anyone wants to hold and help?
Each one of us. بدكم تعمريه وقريه.
just in case you didn't listen to me. This is really hot. Okay.
Okay.
The one we need the scissors.
I don't need my sunglasses. Where's that? Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Take a picture for us. روبا تعالي.
Okay.
I'm fine. I brought my own. Thanks.
Okay.
So 10 centimeters.
So so we're gonna have 30 centimeters of gravel, and that's 30 centimeters of soil. So this pipe is roughly 10 centimeters in diameter. So we're gonna have 10 centimeters of gravel, 10 centimeters of thing, and 10 centimeters of gravel on top of it.
Australia. Been living in Dubai for 3 years. My background is in horticulture and permaculture for more than 30 years. I have a small farm in Australia